Hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And I don't think that the US is going to be able to follow China's lead towards having a digital currency anytime soon. And I'll go into that in a moment. As usual, I am Earthling, yada yada yada. I am an ex-Army reservist. I have a couple of degrees. I have traveled quite a bit. I lost almost 100 pounds over the course of a period of time, quit smoking, and I take care of my uncle who has dementia. So that's it for me. So I recently read that China was testing a new digital currency that they're coming out with, and I guess they're going to continue to test it in the ensuing months, and especially I heard about giving the foreign athletes who come to the Winter Olympics, giving them money to spend, I guess, to see how it works. And in the Wall Street Journal, where they were talking about it, it's the Washington Post. Sorry, I don't have access to the Wall Street Journal. Is it? Oh my God, I got these things mixed up. Anyway, they were talking about the fact that this could be a big game changer for China, because it means that China can circumvent all the middlemen that are normally in between some people spending money, and it can also reduce the power of the US in being able to sanction people who try to use their monetary transfer system. Whereas right now the dollar is king, and that's what everybody uses to buy and sell oil, a whole number of commodities and so on. So if the US wants to sanction or bring someone to heel, they can just say, well, you can't use our money, and that's that. And if you do, anybody that helps you, we will sanction them too. And basically, most people, for example, Iran, it hit Iran really hard. The fact that they can't do business, they can barely sell their oil. I mean, I think they can get it gold in exchange for their oil. But places like North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, specific Russians, and maybe Russia as a whole in certain aspects, there are all sorts of people who the US can punish by denying them the use of their monetary transfer system. I think it's the SWIFT system that they use. So if China can have people use their digital currency that requires no other middlemen except the Central Bank of China, then that opens up a whole new avenue for all of the axis of evil people or anybody that the US does not like to be able to survive and have a successful, uninterrupted life and economy, and do what they want without being afraid of the repercussions of the US. Because if you're doing something that the US doesn't like, hey, China may not mind it. And if it's important enough, let's say for the US to give China some concession to say, hey, would you mind helping us with this particular thing? That gives China power. Now, the problem, of course, is that, as far as I see it, the US can't be like China and just decide. I mean, they said that China's been working on this since 2014, and most definitely China would have also had reason to come out with this digital currency because of Facebook's Libra, because of Bitcoin, because of the threat of some other country coming out with this type of digital currency and basically one-upping China. But this is a means for China to get a larger footing to gain more power in the world. The same way that the US has a substantial amount of power because everybody uses the dollar. What if 5% of the people decided to use the renminbi, to use the Chinese currency? I can't say it. I know there's the yuan, which is like $1. So you can have 20 yuan, and the renminbi. I don't even know how to spell it. That's probably, let me go look. Okay, so it reads renminbi. Anyway, the whole idea is this is an opportunity for China to get power. The problem is that if the US were to come out with a digital currency, it would undermine the strength of its current currency and all of the middlemen who get their cut when it comes to transferring money. All of the people like Visa and MasterCard, just all of those people would have some opinions about how things should be organized, how it should be structured. The Chinese government, I'm sure, does have people who probably would want to say their piece, but in China, even if you're a billionaire, even if you're a member of the Communist Party, you can't do whatever you want. As people say, you can be disappeared regardless of whether or not you are a billionaire or a high party official in the Communist Party of China. Everybody, if China decided that, okay, tomorrow we're going to have this digital currency and all the banks in China, we don't need them anymore, because you don't. You just need the central bank, and you just need some kind of digital wallet that the government provides. And all those people who work at the bank, you have a certain amount of time to find another job. And in the US, that would never work, because all of those people and their families are going to raise a big stink and probably get whatever venture or whatever initiative to get that cancelled. And you can look at Facebook. Facebook was trying to put together a digital currency. They got on the usual suspects who normally make money to be a part of their system. They got the banks on board. They got Visa and MasterCard on board. They got a wide swath of all of the people who probably would want to be a part of such a system, and they were going to release their digital currency. Of course, that would undermine the US dollar. So the senators, the president, I'm sure to whatever the extent it could have been explained to him, many other people would have been thinking that, hey, you already have this entity, Facebook, that has, more than 2 billion people who use their accounts at least monthly. This is bigger than any country on the planet. And if people start using this currency, Libra, why would they continue to use the US dollar if it fulfills everything that they need? And then the US would lose a substantial amount. Practically all of, well, not all, because banks and billionaires and whoever else probably wouldn't be able to transfer their money through Facebook's system, as well as there would be, fees and other things attached that might make it prohibitive. But that's the thing about freedom and freedom of speech. You have so many people who get to say their piece and get to have perhaps some degree of input, if it is just to say their piece, and that can thwart many endeavors that are really good endeavors that might affect somebody who just happens to have a considerable amount of power. Whereas in China, even billionaires have to fall in line. So it means that if there is a good initiative or good idea, something that will help the entire country, and that is put into that, comes up, and you're going to go forward, it is probably almost impossible to stop that. And we may be seeing a pivotal moment play out. This might very well be the beginning of the end of the worldwide dominance of the US dollar. It may not, it's like how TV may have crushed radio, and VCRs or CDs may have crushed VHS tapes, and then ultimately the internet. This might very well be the moment, because China has nothing else to look back on and be worried about that this digital currency might be undermining. China can go full hog without any concern about having anything to lose. It basically can leapfrog many of the issues that the US is going to have if they try to start up a digital currency. So it's a bit like a situation where you have a human body and the brain decides that, hey, we need to chop off a foot. If that was a country, a democratic country, you could probably very well just die of gangrene, because the foot is able to marshal power to say, no, we're not going to get cut off, even if the rest of the body is going to go down with us. Like, the real estate crisis. Everybody is seeing in that industry, they saw what was happening. Everybody just wanted to get theirs before the whole thing crashed. The same thing would have happened with the savings and loan crisis. The same thing would happen with the dot-com bubble. The same thing would happen in future instances where everybody knows this is a bad thing, but they just keep going because they just want to be able to take advantage of it while it lasts. And they're not out for the safety and the health of the entire country. Well, in China, it's like having a brain where, I guess you can vote with your mouth, as if you're a foot or an arm, you can probably raise some kind of a fuss, and then you're probably going to have your voice suppressed, and things are going to carry on from there. But as I mentioned in other videos, there are pros and cons to any kind of situation. I mean, and if, I don't want to take this example too far, but each and every one of us can decide that, hey, they want their foot to have as much influence on what you do every day as your brain, your hands. I don't know that there's a way for that to be incorporated beyond pain, but anyway, I'm probably taking this example too far. So that's it for me. Feel free to dislike, like, comment, subscribe, share, any of those great things that people do for feedback on YouTube, with the idea that, hey, what would you like if you were putting out content on YouTube? Thanks. Have a good one. Peace.